Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the New Homes podcast, where we'll be looking at everything you need to know about the property market. I'm Matt Nichol, and I'm here to talk you through everything property with one of Redrow's leading figures. In this episode of the New Homes podcast, we'll be discussing new homes versus old homes. Joining me in the studio is Claire Jarvis, Group Sales Director at Redrow. So Claire, firstly we should mention this is an impartial discussion, okay? So there's no right or wrong answers. We're both in the business of selling old and new homes. To kick us off though, perhaps you can highlight some of the main things that people get when they buy a new home over a pre-owned home.
Yeah. So when someone comes along to one of our developments to visit for the first time, what they'll see initially is the sort of curb appeal of generally our heritage collection, which is what most people tend to buy from us, and what we're quite famous for, which is the arts and crafts styles. So we have a really nice curb appeal with the houses on the externals. We like to create communities, so what you'll see is our homes are quite well spaced. We create sort of a lot of ponds, balancing ponds, open spaces, so their initial first sort of impact of the development will give them that feel for how the whole development will look, because quite often it may be that we only have a new show complex and there isn't much further to see down the field, so to speak, because we're still developing that.
So the Heritage Collection, that's an older looking new build, isn't it, I suppose you could say?
Yeah, I think it's based on the arts and crafts design, so the architecture is very much in keeping with that, but with the new build efficiencies. And quite often the preconceptions with new build properties is that, you know, they're quite boxy, they lack soul, and I think that's why people love the Heritage Collection so much, because of that arts and crafts design.
And also often they're kind of densely packed in, people feel, but actually any Redrow site I've been onto, they're quite well spaced. It seems to be one of your focuses.
Yeah, we like to sort of plot that little bit more, and as I say, roads can be wider depending on planning, and the way we space out balancing ponds and open areas, so it doesn't feel as dense. So yeah, you generally get a better feel, and as you drive onto one of the developments, like I say, you get that sense of space, that sense of community, really. That's what we're trying to create.
So what about the perception on the cost of new build versus old? It's normally more expensive to buy a new build?
Yeah, I think with new builds, there can be an element of a premium on that, regards to the second-hand market, but what you've got to remember is you're getting a brand new kitchen, you're getting brand new bathrooms, all the fittings are new, you've got the energy efficiency that you wouldn't necessarily have in a second-hand home. It may be that second-hand homes had an extension to try and create some of the spaces that we have from a new build point of view. So yeah, there's always going to be that slight premium, but if you think about buying second-hand, you're going to move into that and probably want to do some work to it and end up spending more money.
I'm nodding away because I'm doing that very thing at this, at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So we bought a new home, we bought a second-hand home, but we're having to do absolutely everything to it. And the budget that we had is now extending.
Yeah, it's time and money, isn't it? It always exceeds what you thought it was going to.
Yeah, and I suppose it's fair to say that if they get to one of your sales consultants early enough, and if the build stage is at the right point, they can actually choose a lot of their own furnitures in a new home. Yeah,
I mean, obviously we're building properties quite far down the development, so we tend to build within about 6 months in advance of the completion dates. So depending on when you visit the development and what house type that you would like, quite often you've got the opportunity to pick your own kitchen, pick the tiles in the bathrooms and the kitchens, and also use the My Redrow extras, which means you can personalise the home with a number of extras that you would like in there. So it could be flooring, a conservatory, all the sorts of things that really do you want to do that once you've actually moved in.
So you'll actually add conservatories for people as well, if that's
on some of our developments we will offer conservatories. It is obviously on limited developments, and you need to check with your sales consultant, but what we've done is listen to our customers in terms of what extras would they like to be able to purchase during the process. So as I say, it just means you can walk into the house once you complete on day of completion, and you've got all your flooring in, all the extras that you wanted, bathroom cabinets, or there's a whole host of extras there.
And in our first episode, we talked to a couple that bought from Redrow, and Help to Buy was one of the real key factors, and that's something exclusive to new build, isn't it? It's not something available to
I mean, obviously Help to Buy is a government-backed scheme which has been really successful, and it is available on new build properties to first and second time purchasers, because often people think it is only available to first time purchasers. But yeah, that's a really good scheme that enables people to quite often buy a house that may be slightly bigger than they thought. It stretches their budget. it. It gives them an opportunity to buy with a lower deposit because they've got the 5% deposit there. But there are changes coming into the Help to Buy scheme. So March 2021, there will be regional price caps coming in. So whereas at the moment you can purchase up to 600,000, those will be capped at different rates, which has been set by the government. So if you are thinking of buying on a Help to Buy scheme, we would certainly say to be doing that this year.
Right, okay. That is a good point to make. So before December this year, you really need to start the process and have it underway.
Because of once you reserve a new build property with us, you will look at a reservation period of 42 days from reservation to exchange. So if you think about that, really you need to be thinking about purchasing sort of pre-Christmas to be able to get in before that March 2021 deadline.
So I assume it's quite competitive for some certain plots on Redrow sites. What would you advise to someone who's thinking of trying to get one of those plots? If they've got a property to sell, what can they do? How can they get that moved on?
Yeah, so once you come in, obviously the main thing is knowing your budget, but also it's just knowing what do you want from a property. So we have a lifestyle range which offers en-suites with every bedroom, which could work for people's lifestyles. It could be that you want a utility room, which not all of our properties do. So we've got something for everyone, I would say, but it's knowing what your priorities are and then looking at your budget. And then what we'll do is work with you, our sales consultants, to sort of take you through all the house types and the timescales, because it may be we've got a property available which is one of our ready-made stock plots that you could move into within 42 days if you reserve and exchange in the timescales, or it could be that it's a few months down the field. So what we would say is work with you to get the property that you really want. If you've got an existing property, we've got a Help to Sell scheme, and what we would do is recommend you speak with a Help to Sell agent who will come out, value the property, advise you on the best marketing of the property, and Redrow will pay a contribution, or in some cases the full fee as well. So you don't have to pay the fee, and also they do a lot of the work and we liaise with them to make sure that really you're in pole position to get the plot of your choice.
Does it help with securing the plot of their choice, or does it?
What we do is we'll put you on the scheme, and we look to try and get you reserved, your current house sold within 6 weeks, so you can then reserve the plot of your choice with Redrow. So we don't hold the plot for you, but obviously what we're doing is the sales consultants will be keeping in touch with you, making sure you're aware of any interest on that particular plot or any of that house type that you're particularly interested in. But that's why going with the Help to Sell scheme is really key, because you are sort of liaising with the sales consultant all the time.
Okay, so a pre-owned house is going to be probably on an established estate, and your estates, as I say, I've driven around a few, they're well kept, they're very well maintained, and even after years they're still maintained. How do you manage to keep the sites so well? Is there management fees sometimes involved with looking after the communal areas? And
yeah, quite often with our developments during the planning process, we have requirements that we need to adhere to. So that could be that we have to have certain open spaces, play areas, links to pathways through, linking it to schools, etc. But quite often the local authorities don't take on those once we've left as the developer. So what we do is set up management companies, because what we want to ensure is that the development is kept looking how we all want it to look, as purchasers, and it's your community. We set up the management company, and we work with a number of companies that we know are reputable, and we'll set that up to ensure that it always looks good.
Fab. So if someone was going to buy a Redrow, am I right in thinking you're often also contribute towards the community in the local areas? That normally we're planning, I see these big figures banding around, that actually you're putting money back into the local infrastructure as well.
As part of the planning process, we have Section 106 agreements that we have to sign up to, and that'll be that we either have to maybe enhance junctions, roads, because obviously we're creating more traffic around the area. It could be that we have to put a contribution to a school or build a school, or that we have to offer a play area, or we offer money off-site for areas that the local authority want upgrading. So it just depends during that planning process. But we're putting a lot of money back into the communities, the existing communities, as well as creating that new community there as well.
So I guess one of the points about when you're buying a pre-owned property is that you can actually see it and walk around it, whereas sometimes it's a bit of a move with faith if they're buying from Redrow. How would you say that works?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have a show home, and we generally have 2 or 3 show homes as a minimum on any of our developments. So you can get a sense of specification, the standard, the quality of the houses. But obviously, we don't have every house type because most developments may have 8, 10 house types, and we can only show a certain range of house types available. But what we also have is quite a lot of technology as well, so our sales consultants can take you through the different layouts on screen, take you even to the point of what's your garden going to look like if you come out the back door, so you can see the levels and the grading of a back garden as well, because that's one of the big things when you're buying something from plan is understanding if there's any gradients in the gardens, the outlook, so we can show you if it's north facing, south facing. So yeah, we try to do as much as we can to explain to the customer exactly how they'll feel with that house type that they're purchasing. And as I say, they can see the quality and the specification within all the show homes that we have.
So how would you overcome those purchasers that say, no, never going to buy a new build, only want to buy something that's been lived in before, I want something with nice high ceilings, I'll just throw myself in a trap then because Redrow have high ceilings. So your styling has answered that one, hasn't it? The high ceilings is part of your kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, most people setting out who have decided that they want to move home don't necessarily have a preconception. Do they want a second-hand home? Do they want a new build home? I think most people tend to, I'm sure you'll agree, do their research online and then look at what's available in their area. There are preconceptions about new build, I think, obviously, as I've said, with regards to, is it a bit boxy, a bit small? But we do have 7-foot doorways, we have doors made specially for us, and we have high ceilings, and we have the arts and crafts exteriors as well. So that's something that, as Redrow, we've really tried to capture that sort of sense of space and character with our properties.
And I suppose with your plot layouts, you can get the parking bit correct from the outset, whereas Victorian times they weren't planning for as many vehicles to be on the road as there are now.
I have to say, and parking permits, isn't it? You drive down many streets now and it's like, gosh, I wouldn't want to live here, sort of having to park on the road and fight the neighbours for a space. But majority of our houses will have garages, driveways. So yeah, that does lessen it, but there's more and more cars on the road, and every kid's, as soon as they can pass the test, they want a car, don't they? So most households now have sort of an average of sort of 3 cars, I would think. So there's always going to be a volume of traffic, but yeah, we try to mitigate that with the way that we plot, and look at the design of the layout. So if we've got cul-de-sacs, we'll try and ensure that there's enough parking there as well, and that all the properties have parking spaces and garages.
So one thing I know that you can certainly edge it on is the warranty that you provide when someone buys a new build over a second-hand property. You kind of walk into it having a surveyor, having looked around a second-hand home, and you have to take it on what they've seen, but there can be a few hidden things that catch you out. What happens with a new home and with the warranty then? How does that work?
Yeah, so when you're buying a new build home, there is a building guarantee. So we use NHBC, which is our building guarantee. So that's a 10-year guarantee warranty for you. And what will happen is the NHBC inspectors, who are obviously an independent body to Redrow, will come out and at certain stages of the build process will inspect the property to ensure that we are adhering to the latest building regulations and to conform to those. So when you purchase your new home, you will get that 10-year NHBC guarantee, which is fantastic. And then on top of that, you'll get the Redrow guarantee and the customer service that comes with that. And also you'll get all your new appliances, shiny new appliances that are in your house, the new warranties on those as well.
So it gives you some real peace of mind then as a purchaser. Yeah. Fantastic. So one thing I'm finding locally in the market, Claire, is that we've got a kind of a pent-up demand for people wanting to take that next step on the ladder. But there seems to be a kind of a ceiling to it because they can't get into the big 4-bed detached. The people that are there at the moment don't want to or can't find anything that enables them to downsize. Are you able to answer that question? Because that is a problem that we have in our business at the moment. Have you got something for the people that are, they've built up a lot of equity in their home, probably own it outright, no mortgage ever to pay back, are happy there because it's got all the right sized rooms for them, but they only really use 3 rooms themselves.
Yeah.
Can you address that? Is that something you've
Yeah,
got?
I think what we've looked at is the lifestyle range. So what we looked at was taking some of our 4-bed properties and making them into 3-bed. So you've still got the same space downstairs and your lounge and your kitchen, your family areas, which is generally where most people spend the time and have the family round or entertain. But then upstairs we've created a larger bedroom space for the master suite. And what you've got is a dressing area, a larger ensuite, and then what we've done is also created en-suites for each bedroom. So the 3 bedrooms all have an ensuite, and then that master suite. So what we found that's been really popular with what we call the right sizes, because they want to be in the property that's right for them. So they want, the nice space. They don't want to feel like they've had to downsize too much, but they've still got that quality of life that they want.
Yeah, I think it's not even a cost point of view really. It's
No.
about having less to look after, and if that if
Yeah.
that comes with all the guarantees, the warranties, it's going to keep them warmer as well because energy efficient
Yeah.
homes they get with you.
Yeah.
So
And lessen the bills as well, because obviously they're more energy efficient.
of course,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thanks ever so much, Claire. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Might have convinced me for a new build next time.
Hopefully.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think on Facebook and Twitter, especially if you have anything you'd like us to cover in any of the future shows. See you next time.